We're here with Jules Hall and Jan Scholten, clogs, on the Disko...
Crosbie.
No,
I'm not even going to go there. I don't know what it is about his name.
Brain
Suffice to say that at least it's got Contender Sailcloth in it as well. Disko Trooper Contender Sailcloth we've got there.
nice
Great to see you guys here. That was one hell of a race. Jules, tell us a little bit about the sort of the highlights and also the toughest bits of it, I suppose.
Well, my main memory is being underwater.
Yeah,
being underwater, going downwind, underwater going upwind, and underwater going across the wind. And then metaphorically underwater in a hole, watching everyone catch us up.
Really? I mean, it was that wet, because I remember on the Fastnet race you were talking about sort of how wet the boat could be, you know, when there's a big sea running and things, you know. But,
Yeah, so the main difference was it was warm.
Yes.
The Fastnet was freezing.
Yeah.
So the first 24 hours, super warm, actually, almost too warm.
Yeah.
Like you're sweating so much, so you're drinking a vast amount of water.
Yeah.
And we had 35 to 40 knots for 3 hours from midnight to 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So you're exerting a lot of nervous energy.
Yeah.
Sending the boat fast downwind, keeping it under control, hearing all the horrendous tragedies on the radio.
Yeah, shocking. So what, when it was at its top, what did you have on? What sails do you have up?
So we held a spinnaker till about 10 p.m. Right, wasn't it? About 10 p.m. I think we changed down and went to a poled out number 4.
Right.
And we went pretty much the same speed, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I think we had one reef in the main.
Yeah, right.
And we may have put a second reef in for a little bit in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
But mostly it was one reef, poled out 4 through the worst of it.
Putting a reef in clogs is hard yards, isn't it, in those conditions?
it's just that's why I think we're all gyrating to this size boat. It's manageable. You wait for a wave so the load is off,
right,
and then you just pull it down.
Yeah, right.
We hear stories of people on maxis where you got like put a luff on a winch. There's none of that.
Yeah, right, okay. So presumably one of the keys was then how you position yourself for the new front, the westerly coming through. How did that all go?
I think we handled that pretty well. So we knew what was coming in the forecast, and we knew that we had to get through that westerly.
Yeah.
And it was a southerly for us, because we got it on the New South Wales coast.
Yeah.
And so it was that classic thing of big downwind, eases, then 5 minutes later the wind starts coming the other way. Then you've got this weird situation where the swell's still quite big going south, and now the wind's going from the south to the north. We got through that one well, and we knew that the northeast corner of Tasmania was going to be really important. So there was a big transition there.
Yeah.
And we got that right,
Yeah.
and we got huge gains on that one. And then we also knew there was going to be another transition on the south end of Tasmania. We didn't get that one right.
Yes, that must have been pretty cruel, wasn't it? Because you were doing pretty well to that point.
Yeah, we were doing good. And then...
So do you basically just go into a hole early and not get out of it, or...?
Well, so we were, I think, Eagle Hawk Neck or something it's called.
Yeah.
And it's about 20 miles north of Tasman Island. And it was about 7 o'clock at night, and the routing had us going in, because a bit of the westerlies started to come over the island.
Yeah.
And we followed this boat right behind us, local guy, he was brushing in front of us, so we thought that validates everything. Error. They sailed through, screamed through,
Right.
Another boat screamed through, and we were a quarter of a mile behind, and we just didn't make it.
Wow.
And it was, the forecast was there should have been breeze,
Yeah.
and we were looking at all the different models, and we just couldn't get going. And then about 10 boats joined in behind us. They'd been over the horizon, and we couldn't see them.
Yeah.
And suddenly they're all with us, and we spent 4 hours until this legend managed to get us out of it. You should talk about
And
that.
what did their legend do? This wasn't the secret weapon, was it?
No, I went to the woody point tactics.
Right.
Which is where you learn how to sail with nothing, like just the main and the jib.
Yeah.
And then I was actually really upset with myself that we got ourselves there. And I said, I can do this. I can get myself out of here. Just wait and be patient. Then this little zephyr came out of nowhere, and we ended up sailing square with the main as far out as we could. And we had a drifter, a goose winged out, and we just hugged the shore of Tasman Island, like did about 10 or 15 little jibes.
Wow.
To sail along the edge, and it was like up to 16 knots, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Really?
And it turns out you can actually touch Tasman Island from the boat, and there's still enough water.
Yes.
You can step
Which is-
off.
Yeah, sure.
So you can get right in.
I guess that's how they build it.
It's interesting because quite a lot of the guys went wide as well, sort of obviously.
Yeah, well,
you know,
we were
the
gone
Liverpool
for,
guys. Yeah.
and It was just a little zephyr that presented itself,
Yeah.
and it got us to the pressure that was unique to the edge. And
Yeah.
I've seen that before, like
Yeah.
not so much Point Piccadilly, but then in the Southport race, sometimes you have these opportunities on headlands where only there's wind and nowhere else.
Yeah, and so this is the business about having your head out of the boat and not just looking at all the data and stuff and actually going, well, what's actually happening locally here? Yep.
Well, like
Yeah.
I mean, the Woody Point is like we all love twilight racing, where you sail.
Yeah, tell us about Woody
Well,
Point.
Woody Point is actually a Pitwater club that doesn't have a club. It's unique.
Okay.
The proceeds of the year get spent at the annual general meeting with the band and food for everybody for free.
Sounds
And-
like my sort of club.
Yeah, it is unreal, and for that reason there's many members. But it's a race where it's a quirky course and you learn how to sail with 2 sails only.
Right, okay.
Yeah, you pull out, goose wink, whatever
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
You know, under the influence of some beverages. In this
Yeah.
case, frustration.
It's just frustration. So,
Plenty of that.
Clogs, we talked about your secret weapon. You said every year you say one, and then usually we get a reveal, but we're not getting a reveal this time, are we? You're holding on to the secret weapon?
No, we are. Like it's all about that the RSC rules have changed the number of sails that you're allowed to carry. Well, you're
Yes.
allowed to carry as many as you like.
Yes, but you pay a penalty
yeah.
for them. Yeah.
So we've found a nice mix of where the sails become multi-purpose.
Yeah, right.
And might as well just keep it to ourselves for another event.
Yeah, no, that's
Why not?
fine. We'll dig it out of you eventually.
Yeah, but it's Jules is they are downhill sails, of course.
Yeah.
And Jules always has a good appetite for the more area, the better. So it falls into that category. And I have to tone him down a bit. You sure about this?
So you've sailed this a lot of miles. Are you still happy with the boat and you enjoy the racing in this thing?
Well, if I can, well, it's a credit to Jules preparing the boat. And I was thinking, Shorty, the sailmaker, like it's a family company.
Yeah.
And limited to a little webbing strop, everything is hanging in there, and it's not heavy ocean-going material. It's just your ordinary laminate that we're trying to promote through these events that does the job without fail.
Yeah.
And I'm impressed.
Yeah.
And we've had support from him and Hedgie on a few scenarios where how can you make this like 24/7 proof, like heavy winds, light winds?
Yeah.
Because they've been there, done that themselves.
They've been
Not to say other sailmakers haven't, but
they've been really good partners in innovating
Yeah.
how we get this boat performing in the type of racing we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just let's finish on that. What's next, Jules? Apart from obviously sleep and a celebration.
I don't know. I haven't really. It was just all about getting through this race.
Yeah, fair
so
enough.
I think we've got to. It all starts again if you're not careful.
Yeah, cool. All right, well done, guys, for getting here yet again. That was a mighty wrestle towards the end there. There was sort of minutes in it, weren't there, in the division?
6 minutes.
And,
Wrong way.
Went the wrong way. Thanks very much indeed for a chat and rest up, and we look forward to seeing Disko Trooper Contender Sailcloth.
This that the Bulkhead Media team. I'm always enjoying your interviews because you're well sort of like you've done your homework. So I think people enjoy that.
Yeah,
And they respect that you know what you're talking about. So
Thank you very
keep
much.
up the good work.
Here.
Thank you very much indeed. That's great. Thanks, guys. See you soon.
See ya.
Cheers.